A single practitioner who was doing personal injury work. He was, in my view then, in retrospect, a very mediocre lawyer, but it was a job. And when I first asked him what the salary would be, he pretended to express outrage, saying, well, I ought to be paying him for the opportunity to clerk for him. But long and the short of it was, he did pay me, I think I started off at $35 a week, and he didn't give me a check. He always paid me sort of under the table, reluctantly, as it were. I worked for him for maybe 6 months or so, and one day I was across the street at Woolworth's buying juji fruits, which I happen to like. Somebody came up to me who I recognized because he had been a former neighbor of mine when I was a kid growing up, and I used to babysit with his kids, for his kids. And he talked to me and said, what are you doing? I told him and so forth. He said, well, I'm a partner in a labor law firm. Would you like to come work for me in my firm? And, I said, sure, why not? What's the salary? And at that time, I was being paid $40 under the table, and he said, well, we'll start you at $85 a week. Didn't take me long to decide that that was an offer that I couldn't refuse. And so I accepted that and worked for him for a number of years. I became, I think, fairly proficient as a labor law practitioner, developed a client base of my own, and I've practiced labor law ever since. I'm committed to the labor movement. I come from a family who had strong Communist Party connections. I've always been committed to the labor movement. Since then, I've done a lot of not only union representation, but representation of welfare funds and pension funds. And so those are the three areas of my, if they are, areas of expertise: representing unions, pension funds, and welfare funds. And that's what I've done ever since, and that's what I do to this very day, although I'm now trying to transition into a period of semi-retirement. Concludes.
And if somebody were to follow in your footsteps, they wanted to become a labor lawyer, do you have any advice for them?
Yes, look for something that's more profitable. The hourly rate that I can charge is about 1/3 of what a lawyer at a big law firm is charging his clients for doing exactly the same thing I'm doing, except he's not representing labor unions, he's representing businesses. So whereas he or his firm are billing the client $500 or $600 an hour. It's very, very few instances where I could bill a client 1/3 of that amount. Very, very few. They're just really not to be had. They just don't exist. So that's one significant difference between representing unions and representing management. But I happen to be committed to the labor movement, so that's why I've chosen to do it, to my obvious economic detriment.